So next we're going to hear from José Cordeiro, who is a fellow of the World Academy of Art and Science, and he'll be speaking on activities within the Latin American longevity ecosystem. Welcome, Jose.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here with so many friends that I know, many of you for many years. And I want to talk about Latin America and the Iberian Peninsula, that is the Spanish and Portuguese speaking countries that I cover. And I have written a lot, including a recent book called The Death of Death, in Spanish, La Muerte de la Muerte, in Portuguese, A Morte da Morte. I work with many futurist groups like the World Academy of Art and Science, the World Future Society, that are also founding partners of this initiative in 3 countries, in Mexico, in Spain, and in Venezuela, which is the country where I was born, in Caracas, Venezuela, but I now live in Madrid, Spain. I also coordinate with the Millennium Project, the countries of Latin America and the Iberian Peninsula. And we focus on the future, and we have 15 global challenges, and we have written scenarios about Latin America and other parts of the world in the year 2030, for example. And one of the scenarios considers longevity escape velocity. And that means the time when we will live long enough to live for as long as we want, by 2030, which is a forecast by my friend Ray Kurzweil from Google and Singularity University. I actually presented this at the World Economic Forum, the famous Davos conference for Latin America, and talking about life extension. So it was really interesting. Now that I live in Spain, until about over 5 centuries ago, Spain was the country of non plus ultra. And that is what it said in the columns in the center of the flag. Non plus ultra before, which was nothing far beyond, because Spain was the end of the known world at the time. But when the discovery or rediscovery of the Americas by the Spanish in 1492, the name was changed to plus ultra, far beyond, plus ultra. And my goal from Spain is to take it into life, Vita plus ultra, and to join Spain and the Americas in this endeavor. The Ibero-American, as we say it in Spanish, Ibero-American, Iberian Peninsula and Latin America, it's a major community with over 500 million people, actually a lot more, as you will see, native speakers. And we also have invited members going from France and Italy, which come from the Romance languages of the Roman Empire, but also other members like the USA, Japan, the Philippines, or African countries like Angola and Mozambique. The USA is very important, actually, because the USA today has more Spanish speakers than Spain. Actually, the USA is the 2nd largest Spanish-speaking country in the world today, only after Mexico. But Spanish, again, is still a major language. In terms of native speakers, it is ahead of English, as you can see, but behind China. This is native speakers. However, it is true that as a 2nd language, English is by far #1. Even far ahead of China, because it's funny, China has more English speakers than the USA has a population. More English speakers in China than the total US population. That is why English, it is indeed the common lingua franca today. But I repeat, in terms of native speakers, Spanish is #2 in the planet, and also the 4th most common language in the internet world. So I took these ideas 2 years ago, and I ran for the European Parliament to make this issue of longevity and the Spanish Latin community. And it was a very quick campaign, probably the fastest campaign for the European Parliament. And in about 3 months, I got 7,000 votes from my home city here in Madrid. This was incredible, with the idea of longevity for the European Parliament, 7,000 votes in an incredibly fast campaign. This had a lot of impact, so much that even Aging Analytics Agency recognized me as one of the longevity leaders in the world. And I have been also pushing for the ideas of my friend David Sinclair at Harvard University, that he has been pushing actually to declare a city or a country where aging could be considered a disease, but a curable disease. This is what I'm doing now. I'm talking to several mayors in Spain and also in Latin America to see which country or which city declares aging as a disease. We know this is arguable. Some people like Aubrey de Grey say that aging is not a disease, but some people like David Sinclair say it is a disease. I am in this field of aging as a disease because it is important for public and private investment. So I do support this effort, and also what was done before, as Ilya explained, working with the World Health Organization and talking about age-related diseases. So this is part of my current campaign now, to have some place in Spain or in Latin America to declare aging as a disease. Why? Because all diseases really are related to aging in a way, including COVID. You can see COVID is an age-related disease. And if we go back into history, the worst pandemic in human history was the Black Death that killed 200 million people. And the planet population was not even 1 billion people at that time, much less. Or even a century ago, the Spanish flu, which was not Spanish, by the way. Apparently, it started in the USA, but it killed globally 50 million people. And the world population at the time was only 2 billion people. So that is a lot more people than COVID. COVID is a small pandemic in historic terms, much smaller than the Spanish flu, much smaller than smallpox, Black Death, even HIV/AIDS. However, it has paralyzed the world with huge investments from governments and corporations. And if we have paralyzed the world because of a small pandemic, COVID, imagine what we have to do with aging, because all other diseases are related to aging: influenza, cancer, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular diseases. The big elephant in the room is aging. It is not COVID. So how can we stop the planet for COVID when it is very small pandemic compared to aging? And then also, if we consider separate diseases like cancer, heart disease, you know, if we cure them, we can get maybe 3 or 4 years. But if we cure aging, we get decades and decades of healthy lifespan. That is why a friend of mine, David Wood, who studied at Cambridge, England, and I studied at Cambridge, Massachusetts, at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, we decided 3 years ago to write a book that has become a best-selling book in Spanish and in Portuguese. And in fact, I have been promoting this a lot all over Latin America, in Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, obviously Spain and Portugal. It became #1 and #5 book in Spanish, #1 in paper, #5 in Kindle, electronic format. The same in Portuguese, #1 best-selling book in Brazil. And I am donated all the royalties, all the income of this book goes to scientific research, half to the SENS Research Foundation in California with Aubrey de Grey, and the other half in Spain to a scientific foundation. Now the book has come out also in French, and it has become a bestseller as well in French, and just now has been launched in Russian in 2 versions. The Death of Death. And next month, it will be launched in Chinese in 3 different versions. I am now looking for an English editor, since many of you are based in the USA or in the UK. My book is a bestseller in many languages, not yet in English, but I'm looking for a publisher, a good one, a top publisher, to change the world, advancing our ideas of longevity. Why from Spain? Because Spain has the 2nd largest life expectancy in the world among the major economies, only after Japan. Japan has the highest life expectancy. Spain has the 2nd longest life expectancy among the G20 countries. And there is incredible research, like Maria Blasco, who heads the Cancer Research Center in Madrid, and who has been an author of the most famous study about aging, the hallmarks of aging. And she has been pushing for longevity extension. And also Dr. Juan Carlos Ispizua Belmonte, who is the deputy director of the Salk Institute in California, and who has been able to rejuvenate different animals using Yamanaka factors and other technologies. So Spanish scientists in Spain, in the USA, in other countries in Europe, etc., and Latin Americas are working extensively on anti-aging research. Many of these ideas were popularized by my friend Ray Kurzweil, that talks about immortality by the year 2045. And he's just publishing the newer edition of his book, The Singularity is Near, and it will be called The Singularity is Nearer. Nearer. It is closer, and he still maintains the year 2045 to reach immortality, or better called rejuvenation technologies, available for everybody who wants that. I was one of the founding faculty at Singularity University, where this is one of the ideas that we talk about, indefinite lifespans, radical life extension, immortality. Because of this convergence of technologies, nano, bio, info, cogno, and all technologies that change exponentially, faster, smaller, cheaper, and better. And not only with computers. As many of us know, Moore's law and what is happening with computers, incredibly fast change, improvement. It is happening faster in biology, much faster. Moore's law is nothing compared to what is happening now in biology, in genetics, and soon all over medicine. So we are talking, as I mentioned before, that aging should be considered as a disease, but a curable disease. And I want you to join David Sinclair, myself, and others working on different countries to push for these ideas that will change the world. It will change history, and it will change the future once we have a first country or city that declares aging as a curable condition. We already know that this is possible. It has been done with animals. We have extended almost twice the lifespan of mice, 4 times mosquitoes, 10 times for worms. We know now that there are immortal cells, and they are called biologically immortal cells, like cancer. We also have biologically immortal good cells, like germ cells for reproduction. They are called biologically immortal by biologists, okay, by scientists. We also have immortal life forms like hydras, some jellyfish, medusas. And we have the first life forms in the planet, bacteria, that divide symmetrically, who are also considered biologically immortal. So the proof that immortality is possible is that it already exists. It already exists. And cancer cells discovered how to become immortal. And cancer cells did not go to Cambridge University, like my co-author, or to MIT, like myself. And we are going to discover what cancer did to become immortal. This is not rocket science. Even cancer discovered how to become immortal. My dear friend Aubrey de Grey has been pushing for this for a long time, even though he was called by my alma mater, MIT. Technology Review from MIT called him a charlatan. a crazy guy in 2005. And then in 14 years later, MIT changed its mind and it said old age is over if you want it. Look at the change of paradigm in 14 years at MIT itself, my alma mater. So as philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said, all truth goes through 3 stages. Number 1, it is ridiculed. Number 2, it is opposed violently. And number 3, it is accepted as self-evident. So I believe that by 2045, this will be evident and we will see how barbaric we were today that we let people die. We need to abolish death. As my friend Ray Kurzweil talks about the 3 bridges to immortality. First bridge in the 2010s, beginning now. Second bridge, biotechnology, the 2020s. Third bridge, nanotechnology into the 2030s. And then indefinite lifespans, rejuvenation, immortality in the 2040s. Many companies are investing on this heavily. Google with Calico and many other companies. Microsoft says that they will solve cancer as a virus, a computer virus, now that we have sequenced the genome and we can find the mutations in cancer that makes those cells immortal, biologically immortal. This is a computer problem now. It is not a medical problem. Or Mark Zuckerberg, who is donating his fortune to cure all diseases, including aging. And obviously we have the incredible people from Aging Analytics Agency that has been publishing since 2017 some incredible work. And you can see how this industry has been growing from millions to billions and soon to trillions. In 10 years, I believe this will be the largest industry in the world, the largest industry in history. We have even a Nobel Prize, Shinya Yamanaka, 2012, for rejuvenating a cell, which is fantastic. This was thought impossible 2 decades ago, and now we know we can rejuvenate cells. Many different ways using CRISPR, senolytics, many other treatments. We are going to talk about those in one conference I helped to organize in Las Vegas, but now it's going to be virtual this year. RedFest, Revolution Against Aging and Death. Or in Madrid, I have been organizing conferences about aging, longevity, and new technologies, and bringing people like Robert Sophia, even to talk about this with scientists working on biology and medicine. The next one will be in October. I welcome you all to come to Madrid, to the most beautiful place, to the Ateneo de Madrid, that is celebrating 2 centuries, 200 years. And in that auditorium, Albert Einstein spoke, Marie Curie spoke, and now we are going to have Aubrey de Grey and many other scientists talking about longevity, indefinite lifespans. So I do believe that we can rejuvenate ourselves, and not with a Russian application, computer app like Face App, that you say, make me young, make me old. No, no, we are going to be younger thanks to biotechnology. And once again, it is a pleasure to collaborate with many of you, and welcome to Madrid, welcome to Spain in October 2021.
Thank you so much, Jose. Wide-ranging and insightful as always, and so great to get some insight into what's happening in the Latin American longevity ecosystem, especially given Longevity International's international focus and the fact that many of our attendees today might be unaware of these developments just due to their resident geographies. So thank you so much.